On January 19th, Fox's American Idol returns for its 10th season, and it returns somewhat diminished. Last spring, the 9th season finale was down about 18% from the prior year. Still, it drew more than 24 million viewers, and the show remains the top-rated program on TV. But Judge Simon Cowell has left the series, as have Ellen DeGeneres and Cara DioGuardi. Joining it are Jennifer Lopez and Steven Tyler. Nigel Lythgoe returns as executive producer, and he's making a number of changes to the format. However, the biggest change, he says, simply may be Cowell's absence.
I think the big change is not having Simon Cowell. We are Simon Cowell-less. I mean, that is the biggest change, in truth. If you want to put a face to American Idol, it's always been Simon Cowell. Even though the program has been successful in 70-odd other countries without Simon Cowell in it. Here in the US, American Idol means Randy, Paula, and Simon. And I think a lot of the changes with that have influenced the viewers, whether they wanted to continue watching or not.
Oh, Robert, I think you just killed my favourite song of all time.
Cowell's departure also means a lack of, shall we say, brutal honesty in judging the contestants. And let's face it, it's a crucial element of the show. No one does mean like Cowell. So what's a producer to do?
It's more, I think, a fact of this acerbic wit rather than meanness. But what we lack there, I think we gain in knowledge. You know, nobody that hasn't been through this process can see how people can develop as much as somebody like Jennifer Lopez, who started in the Bronx, who went through this entire process that she's now got kids standing in front of her wanting to go through. So she brings something entirely different to the table, as does Steven Tyler, who's been through this entire rock and roll world, if you like, and can look and judge somebody from that point of view. So they both bring something different to the table.
With recent Idol winners like Lee DeWyze and Chris Allen failing to sell a whole lot of CDs post-Idol, Lythgoe is looking to turn this year's batch of contestants into stronger all-around performers, and one of the ways he hopes to do that is by adding to the show legendary record producer Jimmy Iovine as a mentor of sorts.
He is basically this season going to be controlling the music almost. I mean, in discussions with the executive producers, obviously. But he is also going to be quite honest, I think. And we'll have to see how it develops. But, you know, if the judges say you were wonderful last night, Jimmy's going to come in and say they may have said you were wonderful, but I've got to tell you, you weren't as good as you were last Wednesday. And I need you to be better next Wednesday. So he's very forthright, he's very honest, and he does it from a place of, I want you to be better. I want you to be better because you'll sell records for me. Not, I want you to be better because I'm a soul like that wants to see your soul grow. It's because you will make me money. And that's fair enough. That's what that world is.
As a longtime viewer myself, I have to say last season was a big disappointment, and I blame the show's dwindling talent pool as much as I do the judges' dwindling chemistry. Not surprisingly, Lythgoe hopes to reverse both of those trends. But he says one may be more important than the other.
I think if you get the judges right and the talent's crap, no one's going to be invested in the program. They might love to hear what a judge has got to say, but they're not going to vote. They're not too interested. It's not an appointment to view to see if your person has gotten through. If you get the talent right, then people will be more invested in watching this journey and support them. But if the judging is no good, you lose something from it as well. I think I will always err towards the talent. The young kids that are coming on board. For me, they are the ones that give credibility to the show at the end of the day, especially if they're successful in the outside world like a Carrie Underwood, a Daughtry, Kelly Clarkson have been.
Perhaps the show's biggest unknown, and in my mind the biggest threat to its continued credibility, is the fact that even with lots of talent, viewers can vote for whomever they like as many times as they like, even if those thrown off the show are more deserving as singers than those who remain. But Lythgoe says changing the voting policy is virtually impossible.
I don't think a cap was ever put on voting right at the beginning of the show. So when you're getting 96 million, 120 million votes, you're not then going to put a cap on it and come back next year and say, oh, we got 2 million votes because we capped it or whatever. That's only going to allow the media to jump straight on your back and say, oh, look, the votes have gone right down, they've collapsed. So I don't think anyone's going to say we're going to put a cap on it, in all honesty. You can mess around with the format, but at the end of the day, you've got kids standing there singing a song and the country judging them. That's the format, and that ain't changing.
Alan Frutkin, Adweek.